Good morning, everybody. Good to see a few familiar faces. Just wait for a minute or so more, then we can start. I'll put up our holding slide. Just give it a minute more and then we start. Okay, guess people will join as it was the first day after the bank holiday as well. Right, thank you all for joining in. What we're going to do today is we're going to look at basically your products and your services and see how best you can match them with the council. So I'm Nauzar Manekshaw. You've seen me on a few events. I think I've met most of you as well. So let's crack on. So this is part of the Hounslow Business Innovate and Grow program. Okay, so where are we? We are here. If you can see my cursor, we are here at the business model. We did a workshop last week, so we're doing the second one here today. The last week one, we talked about the canvas and your approach to your business. Today, we'll be talking specifically about your business, your value proposition, your products and your services aligned to the council's requirements. Okay, so this program is sponsored by Hounslow Council. And it's primarily aimed at Hounslow Council's procurement. You can, if you're bidding for other councils, that's up to you as well. If you're bidding for the private sector businesses, that's up to you as well. The principles are the same. How do we get you fit to bid? How do we get you ready? Okay. So our three workshops, as you know, we did the first one last week. Today we're here at the value proposition. And in a couple of weeks' time, or the end of the month, we'll be looking at the circular economy and key partnerships. I hope you've got the exercises which I sent you earlier today. You will need them. So if you've printed them or you've got a second laptop ready, that'll be very useful. Right, so just to recap, that's the canvas. Just think about your business now. Think about your business, how you're going to be able to focus yourself and to deliver a contract hopefully when you win one. Okay, so who are your customer segments, your customer relationships, your value proposition? That's what we call desirability. Desirability, ask yourself constantly, when you're launching a new product or service, ask yourself constantly, do they want it? Is it attractive enough for customers to want it? Not that, do I want to launch it? No. It's do they want it? Okay, so that's essentially where we're starting from. Feasibility, can I deliver it? Can I build it? Can I deliver it to standards? Okay, along with other people, along with other stakeholders. And viability, can I make money? Can I make money now in the longer term? Is this tender, is it going to be a profitable one? And the two areas we're going to look at today are customer segments and value proposition. We're going to dig deep into the customer segments and your value proposition based on customer jobs to be done. Okay, so that's the approach, as it were. Right, so let's crack on. So today we're looking at value proposition design. It's a subset, and it helps us to go from gut-based to evidence-based. I'll give you an example, okay? 3 or 4 years ago at the British Library in central London, where we hold our monthly clinics, we had a young lady come in to see us, and I asked her, what do you want to do? What is your business idea? And she said she wants to start up a new restaurant, a Moroccan restaurant. So I asked her why, and she said, because I've been to Morocco and I love their cuisine. Right, so alarm bells, straight away. Then she says, I asked her, how are you going to get the money? She said, I'm going to borrow 250 grand from my parents. Oh no, I thought that's 250 grand gone from her inheritance or their hard-earned money. So the point I'm trying to make is the same point that I made with her was test your idea, look at your customer segments, look at your skills, and go from gut-based to evidence-based. Just because you like something or you think there is an opportunity, it may not always be the case. I'll give you some real-life examples as well as we go along, because as you know, Branduin are in the business of winning and being awarded in tenders. That's why we are here. We win some and we lose some. That's the way it is. And when we lose, we analyze why we lose, why we've lost, and we are now getting to a point we understand some key areas, key subtle points which local authorities, large companies, tier 1, tier 2 suppliers, Heathrow, etc., they are looking for in a successful winning bid. And that's something which we're going to look at through this lens, through the value proposition in a design. Okay. Right. So the canvas itself, which I hope you've looked at and you've got with you now, it's the desirability side. In a sense, it's a plug-in tool. It looks at, are you creating value? Are you launching a product and service that you want to, or do your customers want it? And is there a fit between what you want to do and the customers want? All good ideas, a lot of good ideas, come to us when we're alone, we're on the throne, we've had a drink too many, or we're walking along the countryside, etc. Various opportunities to get, new ideas. We talk to friends, to families, etc. But before launching them, are we going to look at what customer wants us to do? And that is the key in a message here. Okay, so beautiful island, wish we all were there. I've had the pleasure of going there once. I'd like to go back again when all this is over. So this is the island of Santorini in Greece. It's a Greek island. It's absolutely fabulous. But cruise liners who visit the island, or any boats who visit the island, if they are too big, they cannot make this journey. This journey, the cove is too shallow. The seas are too shallow around it. So there is a job to be done. The job to be done is getting people from the cruise liner onto the island. So you've got something, they've invented something called a tender boat, which is a smaller boat, a comfortable little boat, which ferries to and fro people in reasonable comfort and safety from the cruise ship to the island. So that's one job done. So you can see that it's actually called a tender boat for some reason, for some shipping reason. But the point is that this service was invented, and it's across the Greek islands, across the Mediterranean. Right, so now you've got the challenge of climbing 300 feet up from the beach, as it were, or from the port up to the island. And how do you do that? Again, they've invented 3 possible ways. One is if you're fit enough, you walk, or if you're crazy enough, you get on a donkey. Yes, there are herds of donkeys, trained donkeys ready to take you up there. And the third is you take a cable car. Guess what I did? I took the cable car. My wife and myself, we took the cable car, the easy way out. But most of us not do that. Some people take the donkey, and some people who are mostly younger, very fit people walk up the hill as well. So you can see that there are different ways to get a job done. And that is what you should be looking at. Your way may not be the only way that the council or the local authority or a tier 1 or tier 2 supplier is looking at. There are different ways to get a job done. The same job, going from the ship up to the top. Okay, so let's take this one step further. You're up there, you've had a drink, you've had a coffee, you're relaxed, etc., and you've taken a photograph. A fantastic photograph. It's one of the best views in the world. And what are you going to do with the photograph? You might want to share it with your granny. You might want to show off. You might want to put it on Instagram, etc. You might embarrass a friend. There's many different things that people do with a photograph. The same photograph. We all know that. But look at it. The product or service that you use is dependent on the job. So you might want to put it on Facebook, iPhoto, Instagram, Flickr, Google Photos. Send it to a printer, to send it to your granny. There are loads of apps and different services. It's the job is the distinction, not you. The think about the job, what job needs to get done. And in this sort of context is focusing on the job. You use different filters, red eye reduction, multiple sizes. You might take different angles, wide angle, etc. It's all related with the job to be done. And that's an important new thought process. If you think about the job to be done, you will design your product and service to match that job to be done. So jobs to be done are what makes users buy your product or your service. The job to be done, as you can see here, can be vast. Your product or service could do a particular job. You don't have to do everything. May not be possible. If you're an SME or a micro business, you've got a product or service which basically fits into an aspect of a job to be done. You could do a job here at this stage. You could come back and do a job at another stage as well. So you could do multiple jobs to be done. But it's to be about jobs to be done. Okay. So get away from the persona, get away from the user, and think about the job to be done. What is the job to be done, and how can my product or service basically fit into it? And jobs to be done can have, functional aspect, can be emotional, can make the person look good, can make the person rich, can make the person sleep well at night. Different as it could be health and safety, etc. Let me give an example. This is a screenshot from Hounslow Borough's website on A to Z of services. Apart from 1, 2, 3, 4 letters of the alphabet, there are services beginning with every letter. And there are about hundreds of services. You click on A, B, C, D, you'll get lists and lists of different services. A, adult social care, I don't know what B stands for. It just goes on and on. It could be paying IT systems, council tax, waste collection, construction services, consultancy services, planning, care, everything. The council is, in fact, if you look at a council, it's quite a unique organization. It's one of the largest multi-sector organizations in the world. There is no private sector organization which comes close to what a council does. A council does 101 things. Most private sector organizations do 1 or 2 things. Big difference. So if you're looking at approaching the council, look at what jobs need to be done. Do some research, go and explore and talk to people within these services, talk to current providers, attract them, see how they're doing, and you start getting an idea of what the council needs to be able to grant you an award, a tender. Okay, so it's a very important slide. Put it into context, and that's what we're going to talk about, the job to be done. So before I ask you to pull out your worksheets, value proposition, your consideration, address a complete set of jobs. Look at what jobs you can do. Look at more important jobs. Do you believe your product or service can achieve a certain sort of an objective? Is it important? I'm going to be jumping the gun here and saying, is it going to relieve some pains? Is that because when jobs don't get done, when you can't access your app to pay somebody through your banking, phone app, it's painful, isn't it? It's painful if you can't, if the internet goes down or you don't have a signal. It's painful. So that is customer pain. So in Vodafone, as an example, is aware of that there are sort of points where they don't get signals. They're working hard to do that. It's in their interest to make sure every part of the country is covered by their signal or a signal that they can share, get into partnership as well. So go beyond the functional jobs. Look at what value that you're going to provide. Help a lot more customers get a job done. More customers you help to get a job done, the more opportunities you have to win a higher bid, and a more expensive bid. You can get a job done if you're starting out. You get a job done incrementally, sort of better as well. You can say that you can look at the council and say you're delivering a service which is taking you 2 days. I can do it in 18 hours or 24 hours. That is marginally sort of a difference. If you can say I do it in 6 hours, it's radically better. And the council will say, oh, let's have a look at this. It's going to save me a lot of money, a lot of time. My customers, council's customers are going to get happy as well. Okay, so look at that. Look at it from a council point of view and their customers in a point of view as well. So I've sent you those worksheets. Hopefully you've got them open now. So exercise 1. So just open a blank sheet of paper and think about it from your point of view. what is your ideal customer trying to get done? What is the outcome? Okay. What is it? What is it? Is it a functional job? Is it a social job? Are they trying to look, better, trendy, gain power, status? They need a better website, better social media, or is it very functional? They've got to provide and deliver something really serious like adult social care services, or they've got to supply 200 kitchens to 200 flats. What is it that they're trying to get done? Okay. And how, if you may not be able to answer this now till you get some research done, but how often does this job need to get done? Because it helps you to plan your business and plan your bid as well. So if it's 1 or 2 jobs that you're going to quote for, how often do they occur? Do they occur once a week, once a day? If it's a social care, it's like 2-3 times a day. If it's a waste collection services, it's once a week, but different types of waste collection. Are you in? It could, if it's IT, it's real time online 24 hours with a plan B. So think about which part of the council's products and services you're applying for, and look at the job to be done. Okay. So just write this down on a piece of paper. We will come back to it. Okay. So now you wrote down this job. I sent you a worksheet earlier today. And on the left, you'll see jobs importance, the yellow section. Rank those jobs according to importance. You put down 2 or 3 jobs, which you believe, if you're a builder, you believe they want a new kitchen, they want a new roof, they want plumbing, they want guarantees, they want heating, etc. What is it that you are supplying? And put it down in terms of importance. Which of those jobs do you believe are of most importance to your customers? So I'm going to give you a minute to think about this. The jobs you put together on your previous slide, which you believe you can bid for, which you believe you've got the product and service. You might need to do bit more research, and we are talking about that now. How you can try and align your product to a customer fit. We're talking about that now. So in that sort of a process to achieve that, what do you believe are how rank those jobs in importance? So number 1, put down it. So number 2 is maximum of 3 jobs. Okay. Now we look at it from customer pain side. Okay, what is customer pain? Customer pain, as I explained to you earlier, was if something doesn't happen, I want to get a job done. If something doesn't happen, there is a pain associated with it. It can be risks, can be risk of sort of financial risk. Okay, a security breach, as an example. It could be an obstacle. It could be if you don't have enough fuel in your tank, you can't get from A to B. Or if the Uber doesn't turn up for some reason, or the trains go on a tube strike, those are obstacles. So those are customer pains. Okay, so what is it that, because if that job doesn't get done, what happens? I mean, look at an extremes. If adult social care doesn't get delivered, we got a lot of very vulnerable elderly people, disabled people who are going to be in great difficulty. The council can't afford it. From a humanity point of view, we can't afford it. So there are systems in place to ensure that doesn't happen. That is serious pain, is what I'm trying to describe. Okay, so ask yourself, what is it you believe that annoys your customers before, during, and after getting a job done? Undesired costs and situations. Remember, when you win a contract with the council, you can't go back to them and say, I can't do this because it's going to cost more. It doesn't work that way. They will quickly show you the door and cancel the contract, because there are other suppliers who will not say the same. Yes, if there's a force majeure, like a big event like COVID, etc., they will find different ways to do it. And as an example, we used to do workshops, as you know, on a face-to-face basis. Everything is moved online now. It might stay online. Learning worldwide, what we're getting from information from worldwide audiences, whether it's from the US, Australia, Singapore, etc., is that learning and education is going to stay online, especially in webinars and skills-based stuff. In classrooms, will go back, but that's my point. So the job, what is it that you need to do to get a job done? So customer pains, if you can go to the middle and rank the pain on how extreme they are in the customer's eyes. Rank the pain. What is it that is going to cause the most pain to customers if your product or service if that product or service is not delivered? What is going to cause the most pain related to yourself, related to your product, your service? Okay. Right. Exercise 5 is the next one, is gains. Now think about the reverse of the pains. What would the customer gain by taking your product or service? What is so good about how would they feel about it? You know, describe the benefits. They could be functional, they could be social, they could make them look good, they could be positive emotions, cost savings, time savings, longevity in the sense you give them a longer sort of a guarantee for your product or service, locally made, adding social value. What is that customer gain? Council is going to gain from delivering from you delivering your product or your service. Okay, so if you write down 2 or 3. Then similarly, going back to your worksheet, gain relevance, rank gains according to how essential they are in the customer's eyes. So those gains you put down, whether they were, social gains, functional gains, cost savings, time gains, speed, etc., guarantees, how important do you believe they are in the customer's eyes, in the council's eyes? This is a template to help you to get prepared to get fit to bid, in a sense, before you invest in time, effort, potentially with an external bid supplier, or if it's not a complicated bid, you can do it yourself. But look at these key learnings. Look at these learnings from what you're learning today on how you're going to get your product and service to match, potentially exceed what the council wants. Okay, so can I suggest either Samar, Paul, Gautam, or Clint, if you want to just basically type into the chat file what you got out of this? Is there anything which struck you? Is there anything which you believe you need more help on? If you want to put down what is your key job that you found was the most important, what are the most extreme pain, severity, most gain relevance, that would be good to see it on a chat file. We can discuss this for a few minutes before we move on to the products side of things. So if you want to put it down on chat, please, it'll be great. Okay, I've got Paul from here. He says gains from our product and services, product and workmanship and delivery of it. It's time saving and lasts long. Okay. Anybody else? Sama? Clint? So Paul is just to let you know, he's a builder, very accomplished builder, Paul Verdi. And he says gains from our product and services, product and workmanship. Okay, so I would add high quality product and workmanship. Delivery, you got to quantify delivery, is fast delivery or within the time scales, because everybody's going to deliver it. Okay, and you put on time saving and last long. Right, okay. Gautam has put down all his company sectors, alternative health and well-being, yoga-based programs, jobs importance, mental health. It's very important right now, as we know. It's very topical as well. It's always important, but it's extremely topical now. Stress management, pain severities. If you don't get it right, it's depression, anxiety, which is true. And gain relevance is manages one's own health, peace of mind. Okay. It makes sense what you're saying, because see, this is a great answer from Gautam. Gautam, you've just sent it to the panelists only. I'm going to copy and paste your answer, if I can, to everybody. Right, so you can all see his answers. When you type in an answer, if you can type into all panelists and attendees, then everybody can see them as well. So you can see that ways. I mean, it's very clearly put, very clearly understood. Okay, so great. So I'm going to move on now to the next set of exercises. Right. So. Okay, so now we're going to look at, on the left-hand side, how are we going to get your idea? You've done, jobs to be done. You've done pains, gains. Now, if you look at, I'm going to take my cursor here, just above the fit, and he says, are you addressing essential customer gains? So there's a lesson in here. You can't deliver, you can't do everything. You can't deliver everything for everybody. So what are key essential customer gains you're going to be able to deliver? And within that, what are you addressing? Extreme customer pains. You can't solve everybody's every pain, every customer's every pain. You might have a long list of like, I want need this. If I don't have this, I feel this. No, you want to address the top 1, 2, 3. That's where you can make the most, a difference using the 80-20 rule. That's where you'll be able to win a bid as well if you address the top gains. So it's looking at the fit between your products and services and your customers. Okay, so we're going to look at that now. Okay, your products and services are essentially the red bit here. So now you're looking at trying to put your products and services into a sort of a section where it fits in with what your customers want. It's difficult, it's not easy, but because you will make a few changes, but that's the point of this exercise. So what products and services you offer, which our customers segments see as valuable. Look at their pains and gains. Pains and gains that you put down for your customers. Do your products and services match them? Okay. Can your products and services, do they match the jobs, pains, and gains that you put down? So let's do this exercise. Okay, so you may have 1 product, 2 products, 3. Can you put that down in terms of what do you believe are essential? Rank what you offer by how important they are to your customer, not to you, not to me, to your customer. The customer in this case is the council, tier 1, tier 2 suppliers. Okay, so rank your products and services, what you believe are most important. If you got this right, you will win. You will most likely, if not win the bid, you will go to the next stage in the bid where you'll be called in for a presentation. You'll be shortlisted. That's my point. You'll be shortlisted. If you haven't got this right, you won't be shortlisted. I'm going to give you an example now. Okay. So as I said to you, as a Branduin, we win, hopefully a few more, but we lose some as well. And when we analyze we've analyzed some of our losses, which hurt, obviously. When you don't win a tender, it hurts because there are expectations and all that. Anyway, that's on a paying side for us. Okay. So when you analyze a tender, which you've won or you've lost, okay, there are areas which become obvious that you haven't matched what the customer wants. So for example, you might have a product or service which does A, B, and C, which supplies this seminar or that webinar or this service or this innovative new way of doing things, new roof, a new kitchen, new consultancy, new town planning system, whatever, something new that you think you are good at, you've done it somewhere else, and you tell Hounslow Council, I'm going to do the same for you. No, that ain't going to happen. Because if you look at the bid and if you look at the tender very carefully, if you look at the specs, the ITT specs, you will find that there are certain things which, for example, we found in one particular sort of council, we were suggesting a suite of our webinars, which were very successful, well accepted elsewhere. But the council we were approaching about 2 years ago, they had done a survey of their own businesses, which said they wanted a different set of webinars. Now, for the best will in the world, we didn't completely take that into account in the tender specs. Guess what? We didn't get it. But that's what I'm trying to say to you, is your product and your services have to match what the customer pains and gains are. You can be the best in the world, you still won't get it. Okay, we got a couple of people on chat. Okay, Samar Whittingham says to all panel supervision for malls, retailers, unpaved streets. Okay, I will come back to you on this, Samar, when we come back to this end of this one. Okay. So your products and services rank what you offer by how important they are to your customers. Now you're looking at pain relievers. How are your product and services going to relieve pains? Look at the pains that you put together when you looked at your jobs to be done. If a job doesn't get done, if a council's job doesn't get done, I gave you many examples. And look at your own example. If a council's job doesn't get done, there are pains. How are your products and services going to relieve those gains? You can use those similar words, but change them into pain relievers. Then you have market fit. Then you know that your product and service, you identified a gain, but your product and service does not relieve that pain. It's not going to fit. There won't be a market fit. And we're looking at creating a market fit between your customer segments and your products and your services. I assure you, you get this right, you will be very successful. Making sure you have market fit. And for tenders, it's absolutely critical. Remember, when you are talking to local authorities, tier 1, tier 2 suppliers, Heathrow Airport in the future, you're moving from, you're not just a B2C, you're not B2C, you're not business to customer. It's like it's not a retail a business where people walk in, not selling online, Amazon, etc. No, you're also not just purely B2B. You're moving from B2B to B2G, business to government. You're looking at supplying to government. So look, you've got to get things right. Government is not faceless, as we discussed. There are real people in the council who are there to help you, but you've got to help them to help you. You've got to make sure you supply goods, products, and services which relieve their pains and create gains. Okay, so on this point, so rank your pain relievers in the middle now. You put down a few pain relievers. Just think about, rank your pain relievers as essential. Which is essential? And which are nice to have. Nice to have means 80-20 rule. Think about it, because you're going to test this as well. You're going to what you're doing today is you're going to keep this and use this as a test case when you get an opportunity to bid, and say, am I using this in a template? Do I have pains and gains? Am I covering pains and gains? We do that now. We see the pains and gains in the ITT, what their issues are. Most tender documents will have a strategic headline on top. This is the problem. This is their problem in this. Why are they issuing this tender? Most councils do that very clearly. If you look at even the Heathrow side just now, why are they creating this new portal? Because of the effects of the pandemic. Because they used to have something called the Heathrow Business Forum every November, which didn't take place last year, may or may not take place this year. So they've gone online now. So they've got a portal. So that's my point. Okay, so look at it and keep these exercises. You will find them very useful for a checklist, or a sanity check when you submit your tender. Right, so we're going to look at the last bit here, which is gain creators. And gain creators, look at the gains again. Is your product or service creating customer gains? Are they making them happy? Are they making them fulfill something in time? Are they? I mean, look at the green lines here. Are they giving? Are you giving good design guarantees? Are you making your customer's job life easier, faster? If you're providing print services, you're providing design services, are you making them look good? That is what the customer wants. You want to win the bid, you want to make money, but the customer wants something else. They want you to create gains for them. They want you to relieve their pains and get a job done. Think about these three things. Get a job done by creating a gain and relieving their pains. And you have enhanced your chances of winning a tender. Okay, so on this point, write down your gain, write down your, in terms of importance, the gain creators, much like the pain relievers, are they essential? Again, nice to have 80-20 rule, can't do everything for everybody. The key gains, look at the gains you put together earlier and look at the creation. Is your product or service fitting? Is it creating a gain? And if so, what is it? Is it faster, cheaper, better, makes it look better, makes the customer look better, makes the customer more money, less cost? Guarantees, accreditations, what is the customer looking for? Okay. So I'm going to look at the chat now. And I've got here from Samar is to all panelists. So Samar, I'm going to copy your thing to everybody, if you don't mind. Samar is the director of Hounslow Chamber and a great businesswoman. I've known her for many years, and she has some opportunities here, which she's talking about. So what she gets involved with the council is a supervision, for the malls, retailers, and speaking, a very good point, non-native English, speakers. And they're doing it on Zoom. So that's, so non-native English speakers, what is their pain? Their pain is they can't understand what people are saying. They can't follow instruction. They can't gain. So there might be some things which people can, gain from, but if you don't understand what's being said in English or in that particular language, then I won't be able to gain from it. So they're doing this on Zoom for non-speakers of English language and making them win and be confident. Great, that's so obvious. That's a great pain reliever and again sort of a creator. Okay, so we were involved to make. So I will type the rest of this in as well. Okay. Okay, so there's more stuff from Samar. There's also a recording from Lisa. I'm just trying to think anything else that is there. Anybody else? Paul, anybody else wants to share their gains and pains? Clint, can you introduce yourself? What is your business? What do you do? Hardeep Singh as well would be great. Don't feel shy. It's only a webinar which you're going to learn from and interact. Okay, I'll give you 1 more minute time. Okay, Paul Verdi. Right. So let's look at Paul's Gautam again, services. Right. Excellent, Gautam. I'm going to read yours aloud and just see what. So your services are yoga-based mental health. Programs manage yourself independently. That's good. That's to manage yourself independently. Self as in your entire self, your well-being, how to stay peaceful irrespective of external situations, pain relievers, managing own health, mental health, reduce depression, anxiety percentage, self-management of health, gain creators, happiness and joy, ability to manage self. Okay, great. So yours yoga-based mental health. Are you a physical service, Gautam, or are you an online service, or are you both hybrid? Can you put an answer, please? Great. And how long you been in business? Have you got a few customers, or are you still in the testing stage? Okay. I would suggest you attend a webinar at the, attend all the webinars, but there's one at the end which I will be conducting called the circular economy and developing key partnerships. I think you'll move a lot faster if you partner with 1 or 2 key organizations, and you should be then in a position to approach the council and win a few contracts. What the council said, if you remember, if for those of you who attended the first session in May, on the 18th of May, when we had people from procurement, with the council, if I remember, they have levels of contracts which they award to local businesses, especially if you've got a postcode, if you're working out of a postcode, or if you live in the borough of Hounslow. And they start at a test level or a new business level at £5,000. If you do that well, you go up to 10,000. If you do that well, you can go up to £30,000 without necessarily going to tender. At £30,000, I think they still have to call in 1 or 2 bids, but the council will do that. If they like what you're doing, if you've got a testimonials, if you're, they do award, contracts below the 30K to people who've done a good job, win the prize, etc., and with no complaints. Beyond that, up to £75,000, they have to go to tender, and beyond £75,000 becomes a larger tender, etc. That's more national. So there is an opportunity there on how, even if you're a new business, how you can get together with and collaborate potentially to try and win the first new tender. And mental health, yoga-based, it all basically ties in with the healthcare that the council are providing. So that's my point here. You need to find a route to market. You need to find where you've got a product or service which you're testing. Hopefully that test goes well. Can you create a market fit with what the council wants, in which segment? If you remember that earlier sheet I showed you, where there are 26 minus 4, 22 departments, 22 different areas, at least in terms of letters, maybe 101 different inner services, maybe 5 or 10 different types of health services that they provide. Where could this fit in? That is what you got to find out, and that is the purpose of this exercise. So well done to you all. Okay. So, right. This is something you don't have to do now, but I'm going to put out a challenge to you that if you want to fill this in and send it to me, I'll be happy to give you a one-to-one response. I've done that in the past with Hounslow micro businesses. So look at the exercises we did today, fill this in on this one sheet and send it in. You can cut and paste it. You can use edit and fill. It's a free service on Acrobat Reader. It's a free service. You can type it straight in. If you are going to write it, then please use block letters so I can understand your handwriting. And I'll be happy to respond to you. I'll give you some comments and some guidelines on what sort of a market fit you're putting together to be able to fit with your customer segment, your customers being local authority in this case, in the first case, potentially Heathrow, potentially tier 1, tier 2 suppliers. Okay, so that's an open invitation to you. Fill this in this sheet and send it to me. You have my email address. Please do so. I will have a dialogue with you. It'll take me 2 or 3 days, but I will come back to you for sure. Okay, we've got more stuff in chat. Okay, Clint says, I don't think my Zoom is working well. I'll repair it and AV equipment, but now specializing in breweries, bottling plants, and for the studio Shepperton. Well, that's very interesting. Okay, Clint, I hope, as Lisa pointed out earlier, and I'm sure she'll do it again, this entire thing is being recorded. It's going to be on the Hounslow Chamber website. You'll be able to relive this entire thing. There it is. That's a link. Okay. Thank you, Lisa. Excellent. Right. So helpful tips. We're coming to the end now. Helpful tips. Look at the value proposition in a canvas, the exercise we did today. I hope that was clear. There are 2 aspects to it. Observe your customer segments. See what they want, what jobs to be done. That's the starting point. That little triangle on the extreme right, the jobs to be done, that's the starting point. Observe, understand, and then design. Then design your product, services to match that fit. That's how you get market fit. Or you'll get something which nobody wants. You love it, your family loves it, but nobody wants it. How terrible. You don't want to be in that situation. You want to design something after observing what your customer wants. Don't mix several customer segments onto one canvas. Requirements, you may have a consultancy, you may have a yoga center, you may have a building in your company, you may be producing a glass or factories or cans or whatever. The council's requirements are going to be different from a Heathrow's requirements, or from another tier 1 HS2 requirements, or from a construction company's requirements, or from a social care. So don't mix several customer segments into one sort of canvas. Look at it separately. Look at your customer segment separately. Okay. And the other point is the council has users. So you're going to be, if you win a tender, or if you're awarded a small sort of a test tender, then you're going to be having to deal with customers. Once you get the council's approval, then the work is with their customers. So look at the users. User will not pay you directly. You'll get paid by the council, just as we are doing now. We interact with you. We have to make sure that what we promise the council is delivered to you. Similarly, when you win a council tender, what you promise the council has to be delivered to users. And users may be many, there may be different types, etc. The deeper you delve into customer segments, the better you will design your products and your services. Okay, so as I said, look at your customer segments independently. Yeah, look at the gains, pains, and the jobs to be done. Jobs to be done, gains, and pains. If you go with anything today, with these 3 things, what are my customers' jobs to be done? What are their pains and what are their gains? Just go with these 3 things in your head, and you will design better products and services and improve your chances of winning a tender. Don't only focus on the functional jobs. There are social jobs to be done. There are supporting jobs. There are personal, emotional jobs, making you feel good, making you healthy, etc. and therefore looking at the personal sort of aside as well. And lastly, do not try to address every customer pain and gain. It doesn't work. We can't be everything to everybody. It's a disaster. So in order to avoid that, use the 80-20 rule ruthlessly within your business. Top jobs, top pains, top gains. Is my value proposition on the left? Is my design addressing those top jobs, top pains, and top gains? Okay, that's it for now. Let me just have a look at the chat. The dirt dry not for friends and family. Would you be in a position to give contact of the procurement? Yes, Paul. If you can send me an email, I will forward it on to relevant people. You sent an email. If you can send me a similar email you sent to Elizabeth, just address it to me, and I will send it off to Hounslow. Okay. Absolutely. Well said, Sama, that the first workshop we must have a business plan, even if it's one sheet, because then it's an opportunity for you to evaluate, to critique, and examine your business. Today we learned that value proposition will create value for the customer. Okay, so that's absolutely important. So here we are. We're on the 1st of June. We've done the value proposition, design, products, and services. The next 2 weeks are the bid skills training. Next Monday the 7th and Monday the 14th, 2 p.m. and 3 p.m. Don't miss this. Please block off your time. This is absolutely critical. This is when Neil Basso, he's a top. This is what he does for a living. He's done this for 20 years, and he is a bid skills expert. And he will take you through how to write a winning bid. Okay, so block this time, register and block the time, and make sure you are here at 5 to 2 the next 2 Mondays. Absolutely critical. Okay, so let's focus on that. And that's Neil, bidding skills, 2 online workshops. He runs his own company called Bid Perfect. He's our partner. Again, I talked about partnerships and collaborations. That's the crux of our business. I keep telling people, partner yourself out of the pandemic. Look at people who have similar ideas, similar ethos, or similar sort of work practices, but who may not have the skills that you have, and vice versa. You can complement each other and create a consortium or a partnership, even a loose sort of partnership. Okay. Thank you very much. You've got another 5 minutes. If anybody wants to put in chat, or if anybody wants to unmute themselves and have a conversation, we've got another 5 minutes. And many thanks to you, Lisa, for hosting again. And thank you for all your help. Thank you all for attending. And we're still there for another 5 minutes for any Q&A. Any questions you have, either put it on chat or unmute yourself, please, and just speak away. Okay, many thanks. I think currently absorbing all the good info. That's good, Paul. Excellent. Remember the 3 things from today. It's not too many, just 3. Customer jobs, pains, and gains. And you will design much better products and services which will create a market fit with your customer requirements. We always say, what are my customer requirements? What are your requirements? They're basically broken down into 3 things: jobs to be done, pains, and gains. Paul says, old dog, new tricks, takes time. Well, it's true. It's true for a lot of us. During the pandemic, a lot of us, we sort of reprogrammed, we read, we attended more webinars. So I think it's going to be good when the recovery comes, and it's coming. From the second half of the year, we should be a lot better. We will all be in a better position. And don't forget, if you want to send me that sheet, that one synopsis sheet, your solution, your market fit, please do so. I'll be happy to respond to you on a confidential one-on-one sort of a basis. I will come back to you and I will help you and guide you to put your ideas together. So when you get around to bidding, when you get around to having a discussion with a procurement, you're in a much stronger sort of a position. Okay. And don't forget, next Monday and the Monday after at 2 o'clock, bid skills with Neil, who is an expert in what he does. And he will take you through the nitty-gritty of writing a winning bid. He'll focus your mind on what the council needs and what you should be writing. What is your approach to a bid? You've got to approach a bid as well in a certain way. You can't just start writing, as we know. It's like applying for a new job or a new opportunity. You've got to look at it, research it, and approach it in a certain way to enhance your chances of getting shortlisted. Once you get shortlisted, you have a better chance of winning. First objective is to get shortlisted. Okay, another minute more. Many thanks to all of you. Many thanks to you again, Lisa. And we'll see you soon. Okay.